The Professor's Panoply tells stories of horrific wonder. As such, it contains material that will be upsetting to some and is not suitable for all audiences. This episode includes emotional abuse, body dysmorphia, coercion, and claustrophobia.
Welcome, friends. Welcome, wanderers and wonder-seekers, strangers and stargazers. Welcome, freaks and fiends, chimeras and curiosities, oddities, outsiders and others of all outline and orientation. And of course, welcome to you, who are only and all too human. Welcome, welcome, one and all, to Professor Pandemonium's peculiar panoply. Well, friend, it seems you have again been favoured. The sun sets so soon in your stay that showy sphere, shamelessly self-indulgent in its splendour, surrenders without struggle and... there. See? The moon. It ascends. It wears many mantles, man and madam, mistress and monarch, maniac, mother, midwife, inamorata, most magical, mover of the measureless maritime. All apt elsewhere, more or less. But here it is a curtain call. We contemplate its climb, consider its course, and when it captures the crest, let the comedy commence. I believe our patron prefers this evening's pageant proceeds apace. Perceive how promptly our portent progresses. Perhaps we should also push on. I am no more than our preceptor's puppet, and have no place postponing that which has been predestined. Après vue.
Hey there, sugar. Real glad to meet you. I'd shake your hand, but, well, come on and take a load off. It's fine. I said sit down. You ain't gonna do any harm. He's probably had you traipsing all over this little show of ours. Gotta feel real good to get a breather, so come on and pop a squat. There, ain't that nice? You one of the professor's specials? I figured. You got the look. I imagine you worked it out. We all got a story and a powerful need to tell it. And seeing as you're here, I guess it's my turn to bend your ear. I wasn't going to be the girl in the box. I told him straight off first time I met him. Would have been a bit shit to go through the whole song and dance of an audition if he just turfed me because I'm not keen on being stuffed into a steamer trunk or a cedar chest or a goddamn cardboard packing case, right? Everything else is fair game. Hell, I've practically done it all already. Been levitated, vanished, transported. Had my head twisted all the way around. Got knives thrown at me, got axes thrown at me. Got lit on fire a couple times. Oh, I got turned into a dog once. And all that in 10 square inches of sequins, a few ribbons, and a smile. You should see what some of these geezers put their beautiful assistants in. Little bits of nothing like to make a cooch girl blush, but will you hear me complain? No, you will not. Because I am a professional. Except I wouldn't be the girl in the box. You never asked me to. Not really. I was the 5th? No, 6th misdirection. assistant to Umberto the Unknowable, magician, conjurer, illusionist, and practitioner of the esoteric and hidden arts. It's a living. Good living, even. Still a good one, come to that. Pays all right, grubs included. Even if we're taking all the extenuating circumstances into account. Monopoly's the best racket I got joined up with. And I've been playing the game since I was... Wouldn't you like to know? Umberto's good, too. Slick. Got the hands for it. And the pattern. Hell, almost takes me in sometimes. Gets me to thinking he's a real something. And I seen the little prick oil his hair. It's only... Like I was saying, I told him up front, I don't do those kinds of tricks. You want to cut me in half? It's your nickel. But no way I'm getting locked into some coffin because you don't got the savvy to pull it off or the punters can see. And he said fine, no skin off his back. Not like he didn't have plenty of other options. That was pretty enough for the job, even if I did have an irrational prejudice against a perfectly ordinary and safe form of stage magic. Pretty enough when I smiled. So I signed, and everything was aces. But he does have them, too. Tricks, gobs of them. He calls them effects, because he's fancy. Real bangers, too, but see, there's always the big one. Berto says every magician's got it. The effect. The one that means something. Proves they're an illusionist and not a ham-handed fumbler relying on the audience's stupidity or drunkenness instead of their own skill. His was the sword box. The Hans Moretti sword box, if you want to be fancy. You know, the one where they show off the beautiful assistant, then stick her in a crate, spin around, and get someone on the stage and have them stick the whole thing full of knives. Spin it again, pull the knives back out, and then the beautiful assistant comes out the top of the whole thing, not a scratch on her. That's the sword box. And it's Berto's big one. But, like I said when I answered his ad in the newspaper, if you want a girl to nail into a shipping crate, it ain't gonna be me. And if you weren't gonna hire me because of it, well, there's loss. That's the end of that. No shortage of other outfits I can sign on with. And he got this smile, and he sort of nods and tells me he's heard me, and he understands. And that the job's mine if I want it, which of course I do. So we shake, and he sends me off to get the costume fitted. He never asked me to do it. Some fellas, they ask you for some, and you say no, and they say, oh, yes, darling, of course, you don't gotta do nothing you don't want to. And then they ask again. And you say no again. And again, they're real understanding. But they keep asking, and eventually, you say okay just to get them to shut the hell up. Berto, he don't do that. He's a gentleman. He just... Anyway, I've been working for him about a month when he told me about the sword box. Of course, I get all puffed up and say, I do not do that. And he says, did I ask you to? And I say, no. And he says, exactly. Someone talking to you about something doesn't mean it's about you. And I say, sure. Yeah, I know. Sorry. And he starts over telling me all about the effect and how it's done and how it looks and how only a really good magician with a really good assistant can pull it off. And he says the last time he'd had someone skilled enough to perform with was back on Misdirection 4, and that it's a shame, but none of his assistants since have had the stage presence. Heard a lot about number 4. The way Berto tells us, she was the best damn beautiful assistant to ever grace the stage. Pretty and flexible. Real good vamping, never on the rag, her fucking shit don't stink. She even had this thing she could do where she pulled a dove out of a... All that. And she did the sword box. Look, it ain't like I got a problem with the trick. the effect. I got no problem with any of them. I think they're pretty swell when I'm in the audience. Magician swirling his cape and waving around swords or saws or sticks or whatever, and the beautiful assistant smiling and tapping her feet, grinning the whole time he's poking her full of holes or cutting her into bits. Looks damn fine. I don't like... I had to be able to move. Couldn't perform if I couldn't move, right? Especially my arms. Most of my job was the arms, pointing at shit, fetching Umberto his hat or his cane, spinning the wheel of death. The hell's a beautiful assistant good for if she ain't got her hands? Nothing, that's what. Kind of funny now if you think about it. Miss Number 4, she looked kind of like me, you know? Saw the pictures, not too much, but some. About the same height, and her hair looks real similar, and our nose is a 2 peas in a pod. But she had the body for it. A looker, you know, the kind of fellas go nuts over. I mean, I ain't bad. Not that you can tell, but I ain't. People said I was quite the blackout girl myself when they could see. I couldn't have worked all these years if I weren't nice to look at. Even if I was only wearing a handkerchief and a couple shoestrings. Her, though. Could have put on a potato sack and still be a bombshell. I used to get a bit pudgy around the middle. If I weren't careful to watch my figure. Miss Number 4, it was like she ain't ever looked at a slice of pie. She was that trim. Umberto says she fit in the sword box like he made it for her. Fit in with room to spare. Weren't no trouble at all for her to keep out of the way when the rube tried to skewer her. He didn't even need to give the box a false bottom. She was that good. Just eeled around and came out fresh as a daisy, not even out of breath. One night, I'd been with the Panoply about a year then, so I was getting comfortable. Maybe I had just a bit too much of the vodka. We're sitting around in the chow tent, and I get it in my head to ask if Miss Number 4 was so goddamn good. Why wasn't she still around? I mean, they all acted like the sun shone out of her asshole, like she had the cure for the goddamn cloud. She was perfect. Why the hell was I here at all? I knew right away I put my foot in it. They, Lex and Clarissa and Tony, got real quiet. But me, I got the bit between my teeth, and so I keep on, babbling on about how she must have found a better gig, because who the hell'd stay with Umberto, the fucking Unknowable, at this backwards-ass excuse for a traveling circus that's full of real freaks, if you know what I mean. So I bet she took off with the Cabello brothers, or Barnum and Bailey. After a while, I run out of steam, and they still haven't said boo, and they got that look, and I know I fucked up. She's dead, Tony says. Well, shutting my mouth wide open, I say. But we don't talk anymore that night. I made him do it. The Hans Moretti sword box. Berto had all but dropped it. I mean, he still talked about Miss Number 4. How she'd only needed 2 run-throughs before they switched from sticks to real swords. How he could never get over how she managed to have such divine feminine proportions and still bend herself into a pretzel. But he didn't talk about the effect anymore. Not really. So one day I'm right in the middle of setting up for the assassin's teapot and it hits me. Miss Number 4 ain't that special. If she could do that goddamn effect, I sure as hell could too. So after we get off stage, I march right up to Mr. Umberto the Unknowable and tell him we're doing the sword box and we're doing it at the next show. What happened? It was my fault. Umberto said he'd make me a new box. Miss Number 4 and I might have been the same height, but had at least 20 pounds on her. He told me I wouldn't fit, said it all sad and regretful, like he was real sorry he had to, but I needed to know. I got mad. She was perfect, and everyone liked it better, even my goddamn magician, so I was gonna make this my effect. That bitch already had everything else. This was for me. So I told him I would fucking make myself fit. And he got that smile. He sort of nodded and told me he heard and he understood. We should have rehearsed. It's just smart. Run through the effect a few times, even the easy ones. Make sure the beautiful assistant's on the same page as the magician. Umberto said we could. He said we should. But see, number 4, she hadn't. Umberto said she got it right straight out of the gate, live on stage. He told me the story dozens of times, how the trick wasn't even on the program, but the flexible boy got held up in the Chinese Lincoln ring, so the miser's dream could only get stretched so far. So the rubes start to get restless, and Umberto the Unknowable's just about gone dry. And then it was misdirection to the rescue, bringing out the sword box like it was the plan all along. Damned if it didn't go perfect. Because of course it did. I knew I was just as good as her. Better. She did it cold, well, so could I. We had a good crowd that night. Tony got him warmed up, and I could tell when I walked out on stage it was going to be one of those shows. The ones where you just shine, everything goes smooth as butter, not so much as a hitch. Where everything's all just a little bit brighter, a little more sparkly. It should have been perfect. Rest of the act was. Then we got to the big one. It's been painted up all fresh. Holes where the swords go through have even got gold on them. It's practically as nice as the real thing. I do my signature misdirection flourish. Umberto starts his wind-up, and I start to see the box is small. Real small. Up close and in all them lights, I can get a good look at it, and it's not near how big as I thought. And I get to picturing number 4 inside it, all twisted around with the swords poking her everywhere. Roustis must have turned on the jumbo lights that night because I was sweating like mad. Then it gets real quiet, and I realize I missed my cue. Umberto's standing there with the box lit up and his hand held out to me. He's smiling, but his eyes are telling me to wake the hell up and get with the program. So I do another signature flourish and a little shimmy, sort of tap dance over, grab hold of his hand, walk up the little step ladder, and climb in. I'm not going to fit. I can tell right away, just my legs take up practically the whole thing, and I still got to get my hips in there, not to mention my tits. It ain't going to happen. Not a chance in hell. So I look over at Umberto, and I'm trying to say, you see this, right? Give me the fuck down, and we'll give him some other grand finale with my eyes. But he doesn't get it. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. He's smiling like to split his face, and he nods at me all encouraging. I shift around like I'm trying to find the best way to sit down, even though I couldn't if I wanted to. Again, I'm looking daggers at him so he'll get me off this fucking platform. He still doesn't get it. His grip on my hand gets real tight, and his smile gets hard, and I can feel the crowd's eyes on me. I just know they're starting to get restless, and if we don't get him something in soon, we're going to lose him, and once you lost the crowd, you ain't going to get it back unless you show blood or bush. I'm done. It's over. I'm going to throw in the towel. Let her win. Punk out. But Berto's got his nails digging into my fingers now. He's not going to let me go. He's going to keep me up here sweating like a pig in the spotlight. He's going to make sure I go through with it. So I do. I do. I move my feet forward, push the toes of my heels into the corner where the wood sides meet, and then I fold up and slide down into the box. Or I try to. My ass cheeks get caught in the lip. I bend my legs, angle my hips, get everything just inside, and push. It works. I'm folded in half, knees level with eyes. Wood against shins, shins against thighs, thighs against tits, tits against ribs, ribs against wood again. I can't breathe, except I am. I can feel it, hot and damp little puffs on my skin. I smell it, wet, sour breakfast and dinner and coffee and goddamn vodka. I can't breathe. I don't want to. There's a little room. Not much, but some. I squirm around, see if there's a way to sit where I can spread out, but there ain't. Box didn't get finished inside. Ain't no one supposed to see it except me, and boy do I see it. I'm smashed right into it. Them sequins doing fuck all against the splinters. There's splinters everywhere, my shoulders, back, legs, face. My arms are last. I'm already mostly in. Audience can't see anything but my wrists and hands sticking out the top. Umberto still got hold of one. Gonna have bruises, I think. And then he lets go. I do a signature flourish, bend my elbows, pull in my hands. There's no space for them in the box. I suck in my belly. Make room. I'm in. But I ain't miss number 4. All trim and graceful, all perfect. It weren't my trick at all, so it's wrong. Ain't ever anything else it could have been, but I fit. I do. I fit perfectly. Not like a pretzel, not twisted and graceful, not turned round like a contortionist, not like her. Me, I'm round. I'm solid. I fit in the box like a chicken and egg, meat in a nut, a pit in a peach. I fit like one of them ugly water bugs that goes straight through its skin. But this skin ain't gonna split open and let me out, 'cause my body settles into the box like a turtle in its shell, like putty pressed into a crack, sealing it up tight, like it was made for me. Umberto closes the lid, and he nails it shut. It's dark inside a sword box. It shouldn't be. It's got all those holes, but they don't show when you got in. It's dark and it's hot. Didn't start hot. Starts like air. Like inside a tent, but there's less. And you gotta breathe. Gotta inhale. Gotta exhale. People do that a lot. Inhale, exhale. More than you think. More than you notice. It's dark and it's hot and it's quiet. For a while there's stuff to hear. Whooping and clapping, yelling, crying, hammering, sawing, pry bars, squealing. And then for a bit there's nothing. Just you. You in the dark and the heat and breathing in the old air you just breathed out. You wonder where your hands are, if your eyes are open or closed. You think maybe you died, just no one told you. None of that stops. The heat, the dark, the nasty air, the thinking you're dead. That doesn't stop. That never stops. But sounds come back. Voices. A voice smooth as butter, reassuring, saying it's going to be fine. This is a change of circumstance. A transition. Strange. Uncomfortable. Not bad. Saying, oh, stop that silly crying, you're being hysterical. Saying, you're better off if you think about it. You were an average assistant at best. Now you're something special. Saying, cheer up, you'll never again have to worry about those fat ankles. But it's all far off. Real far off and muffled. Have to listen close if you want to understand. Still can't hardly make it out. Can't be sure you got the words right. Can't really know who said it. In a sword box, you can't be sure about nothing. Except for crying, of course. That's always real clear. Umberto's been sweet to me. Got me a new job. Negotiated the contract even. 'Cause he's a gentleman. Job's a bit different than when I got hired, but work's work, right? Pay keeps coming, minus Umberto's tiny cut. And the grub, it's a bit different now too, but I ain't complaining. And we've gone everywhere, me and Umberto and the Panoply. In fact, you are looking at a genuine world traveler. I've been to Pittsburgh and Tampa, Des Moines, Austin, Texas, Birmingham, Madison, Kansas City, Missouri, Paris, London, Venice, that's in Italy. Not bad for a girl from Ohio. Kind of a pity I ain't got to see much of it. I almost don't notice the walls no more. Because when you've been inside long enough, the box is a world too.
Oh, that face, so forlorn. Far be it from me to force upon you a formulation of features, but friend, in this your feelings are foolishly focused. No, not fellowship. Fear. Rest assured, outcomes to this evening abound, but none end with you so enclosed. And indeed, it is far too early to anticipate the architecture of your exit. The night is new. Your path is peppered with possibilities, and none save the professor would presume to prophesy its pinnacle. Oh, you will stand on the stage, spotlit, skewered. But destination is not denouement nor future fate, and there is yet an ample expanse of evening between you and that inevitable exhibition. The conclusion will come, as certain as the sunrise and with as little care. But not now, and there is so much still to see. Shall we?
Misdirection was written by Ash Seguinte and was edited and sound designed by Jordan W. Anderson. It includes Sparrow Delgado as Misdirection and Fay Roberts as the Ringmaster. Our opening theme was composed and performed by Amy Young. Our closing theme was composed and performed by Justin Nelson. Further details about the Panoply can be found at pppp.lawofnames.com or in the Law of Names Discord at discord.lawofnames.com. Professor Pandemonium's Peculiar Panoply is a Law of Names production.